Race fan Brian Davis races, and you can too. Today we are going to Shorewood as part of Tour of America's Dairyland. It is Friday. This is the third of my fifth race in this series. So far I have done poorly, but maybe today it'll be different. Yesterday I took myself out in a crash, so that is embarrassing, but that's what happened. Today is a new day. I feel better. Actually, yesterday was great. My heart rate was down, my power was up. I feel like I had a lot more just like calmness about the race, even though it was pouring down rain. So I feel optimistic about today. I'm excited to race my bike again today. And my body's good, my bike is good, everything is good. You know, really no excuses from any of that stuff. I even took the bandages off. I'm just gonna, I don't want to be the guy with gauze on my arm, because no one wants to ride next to the guy with gauze on his arm. Believe me. That's a good tip though. Don't ride next to the guy with gauze on his arm. There's a reason that he has gauze on his arm. And in my case, that reason is absolutely accurate. I'm an idiot and I crashed myself, so maybe you don't want to be next to me. Let's drive to Shorewood, watch a little bit of racing, and then race ourselves. That's the plan. See ya. All right, race fam, let's go racing. Shorewood, I do remember this course now that I think about it, and it is a super fun course. Could really do without all the cracks in the pavement, but the course itself is fantastic. The cracks are no joke, as you're going to find out, though. Yeah, there's a lot of cracks in the pavement, and that's unpleasant. But it's okay. There's cracks for everybody. So, okay, plan today. Originally on the way down, I actually put in the video that I was going to try to like mix it up and join brakes and all that stuff, and then when I got there, I looked at the course, it reminded me of the course. I'm like, oh yeah, nobody's breaking away in this course. Huge, long straightaways, big, fat laps. Really tough to get something off the front. So definitely scratch that plan in favor of, you know what, I'm gonna try to see how efficiently I can race this race. And I feel like I did pretty good. My normalized power for this race was 273, and yesterday was 293. So that's a 20-watt drop. Which is great. So there's, I'd say, a comparable elevation profile if I had to guess. I didn't look that up, but I would guess that. And my heart rate average was way, way down. There were two moments in this race that were really difficult for me, and I don't know why. One, tactically, I just really screwed up a turn, so I had to put in a ton of effort to close a gap. And then another one, the field just went hard, and I got behind some guys that got dropped, so I had to do a lot of work to close, and then, well, I shouldn't say they got dropped, but they gapped. So yeah, it happens, you know. I just had trouble reigniting the match today a little bit, I guess. So there's no reason for me to be battling up front if that's not my plan. So because these laps are so long, I thought, you know, I'm not going to wait till typically like 10 to go to try to work my way up, or even 5 to go, because they're such long laps. So just relax, try to stay in the back, try to be as efficient as possible, and see what you can do. So before the race, I had an interesting conversation with somebody that raced the day before with me, and said, yeah, yesterday was really pretty easy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It was not easy. I had blood coming out of my eyeballs. The word easy doesn't come to mind. So I just feel like, I don't know, man. Some of these guys have a different level of fitness or perception of fitness, and I know people love to tell me it's all in my brain, but I feel like my brain wants to go faster, but my lungs are saying, dude, that's enough. I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually, right? Right. And it's still fun. I still enjoy racing a bike. All right, this is fun. This is how I edit. I have watched the footage this quickly and try to figure out anything interesting. So I thought, well, maybe I'll throw a little of that in there so you guys can see. But this is pretty much what I did all day. Hung out in the back, And then we'd have these moments. Oh, this is your 10-minute break. That's what this footage is. So 10 minutes in, hard, 10 minutes, whoop, everybody chills out. So if you wanted to go do something, at the 10-minute mark would be the time to do it. Okay, there you go. All right, now the hard part about putting it on the fast forward, when you go back to regular speed, it feels so slow. But it's not. It's still really hard if you're actually out there racing your bike. All right, so this little chicane's super fun. Oh, I got a flat. Oh, can you imagine with all these cracks? Yes, I did get a flat. I think I burped the tubeless front tire is what happened, because I didn't see any damage to the tire when the race was over. And that's kind of the nice part of tubeless. Like, it still held some air. It wasn't a catastrophic boom, and then you fight for your life or roll on your rim all the way back to the pit. So I had maybe 15 psi, just enough to safely get the rim back to the pit. And then I want to point out a couple things with the pit. So I was in there yesterday after I crashed, and I've been in there. I'm not great at pits. Like, I have not spent a ton of time doing this. But this is super interesting. I just wanted to point this out. So I pull up. I'm in race mode, right? Like race brain. Race. And I'm dying to get this thing off. And Jose is aware that these laps are really, really long. And what's the rush, right?
See, that's the right speed. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I told him. I said, now that is the right speed, because his calmness brought me way down, which was great. Also, real quick, the power is not syncing up with the video today, so sorry about that. I can't tell how far off it is or where. I don't know. It's kind of a mess. So bear with me on that. But you can see some. If you just glance over there at the power, that's the gauge in the middle. You can see essentially how cooked I'm cooking myself on occasion. So I don't know. I did get asked how I edit these videos. I'll point out that I use the Garmin camera during towed because it's so much faster to sync the footage, although today's a bad example. But when you use a GoPro, it is such a hassle to get all that stuff to line up. So GoPro, I looked up Garmin's site actually the other day to see if they still make the Verb, and they quit making it. The Verb 30 is what I use on the front for Tour of America's Dairyland. Now, if I do off-road stuff, I have to use the GoPro because the stabilization is way better in the GoPro. Okay, this is a moment that killed me. I don't know what I did. Maybe rewind it, go back and look at how I led into that turn. I don't know what I really screwed up. I've watched it like 5 times. I'm like, I don't know, looks okay to me. But I just lost that wheel, and oh my gosh, I remember this very clearly, trying to close this up. And it doesn't even, again, it doesn't look like they're going that fast, but it was really fast when you're out there. So there you go. All right. Yeah, so my plan here, right, is to just sit in and execute on the last 2 laps, but I kind of screwed that up, to be honest with you. You'll see in the last lap footage, I just didn't have it today. That's just really all there is to it. A couple things around the race. A bunch of people said hi to me today, watch your videos, all that stuff. Super appreciate that. Thank you very much. Please do like and subscribe to the channel. It keeps me super motivated when people say hi. But I also want to point out a big part of why I started the channel is because I race all these people all the time, but I never got to know them at all. And I thought, I want to do the videos anyway, but maybe this would be a good way for me to get to know people. And it has been a great way. But introduce yourself to other people that are out there racing too if you get the chance. So anyway, just something to think about. Also, someone didn't know anything about what I shouldn't say. He knew bits and pieces of what I do for a day job, and I agree, it's all bits and pieces. So I did start the brand Fix It Sticks. So if you go to fixitsticks.com and buy a set of tools, that'd be super rad. I also started the brand called Follow Hollow Alpaca Socks. So if you go to followhollow.com and buy a pair of socks, you'll be really happy because the socks are amazing, and you'll be supporting the channel. So that's great. Hopefully we'll have some more stuff in stock soon. Also, listening to podcasts on this hour and a half drive down, hour and a half drive back every day, I picked up something super interesting about aging athletes. And some of this research that came out was saying that it's not necessarily aging just by itself. It's introduction of more sedentary life and then not training as hard as you used to. So you don't remember how hard you used to train. And then when you start training again, it's harder and harder and harder. And so it's not aging. It's just the reduction of training. So anyway, I just thought, well, that's super cool. So don't reduce the training. And in order for me to stay motivated for training, I need to race. So that's a huge part of Brian Davis races. I am obviously not awesome at it, but it is super motivating for me to continue to do it. So I aspire to be one of these guys that is 60 years old and still crushing and doing well in races, or at least hanging with guys that are super fast. So that's my life goal. Hopefully you guys are inspired by me to some small extent and go out and do your own rides and try racing, because it is super motivating for training, which is going to keep you young. So basically, if you watch this channel, you're going to be forever young. All right, last lap. Here we go. Yep. I'm not in like an awful position, but it's not good. I mean, you look in the rear camera, there's not many people behind me. But this was a hard little chase to get up this. There is a little bit of a hill here. Hard little chase to get up the hill. I would put up the wind footage, the wind arrow, but I never really figured out the wind today. There wasn't much to speak of, so it's not a huge factor. So all I'm hoping at this point with half a lap to go is, hey, everybody's going to mushroom out on the backside, which has been happening all day. Like literally almost every lap there's been a mushroom out. And I thought, well, if I can get up there and get past the mushroom, then maybe I can hang on for dear life on this last lap. Now, again, my left leg is starting to cramp up a little bit, and that doubt of that leg cramping is starting to seep in, which is unfortunate. And, you know, you get to a point where you're like, I don't want to get in other people's ways, because there's just no chance for me getting anywhere near a podium. So am I just going to be in the way? I don't know. But I did have a thought. So it mushroomed a touch, but not a ton, and I foolishly didn't get to the outside of the mushroom. I should have been over to the left to try to get around that stuff, but I didn't. And then I thought, okay, last chance. When it goes through the chicane, there's a crash here in the last lap. It's unfortunate. I think Barry Rolling went down. Actually, I know he did, and it looks like he may have damaged his shoulder pretty good. So hope you're okay, Barry. I'm going to shout there, that's for sure. So I thought, okay, if I can get, this is where I wanted to go, off the chicane and then straight through here, which I kind of do here. I kind of do. That's good. But this was like part of the plan. If I could have hit this harder, that would have been better. If I could have hit that harder. And I kind of chicken out in this corner. Like I probably could have gotten another 3-4 wheels even, but I chicken out like how hard I'm going to hit that corner. And you know, again, do I want to hurt somebody else to get 18th? No, I don't. And a fully not impressive sprint by yours truly. And then I'll add to that not impressiveness by giving up early and losing 3 spots at the line, or 2, at least 1. I don't know, whatever. Okay, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.